Welcome back, Fantasy Fiction Fanatics. It's great to see you again, and I hope you're doing well. Today we're going to be talking about wizard games from the Harry Potter universe. And today we are talking about Quidditch, which was recommended by a subscriber, so thank you very, very much to the subscriber who asked me to talk about this. I hope that I do it justice for you and that you enjoy what I have to say on it. Of course, if you have any comments, questions, concerns, you think I missed anything, you want to add anything, you think I got something wrong, I'd love to hear about it. Hopefully you'll let me know down below so we can have a discussion. Let's go ahead and jump right into what I want to talk about for Quidditch. First of all, what kind of game is this? It is a wizarding sport. So I'm saying both things because wizarding and the fact that it is for wizards only wizards can play in the sport, only wizards know about this sport, is specifically for the wizarding world. And it is a sport just like we have sports in our own world here and now, like soccer, football, basketball, any of the sports that we have. It is a very similar type of game as to what we consider sports here in our own world. Now, what does this wizarding sport represent? It represents a lot of things that what our own sports represent to us. The first thing is that it represents community or culture. As any community or any culture that has a sport that is supposed to stand for that area, that community, that culture, whatever, it really shows that community through the people who are playing in it, of course, in the sport, because they come from that culture usually, or that community. We've got the mascots that show community representation for whatever mascot is chosen. We've got the teams, like what teams you have and what they're labeled as are usually a representation of the culture or the community. For example, when they go to the Quidditch World Cup, they've got Ireland, who has their mascot as leprechauns, and they actually have real-life leprechauns come and be their mascot. And that is a representation of that portion of the wizarding community. And then we've also got like the Bulgarian wizarding team, which has their mascots as Vila. So we see where their culture comes from, what kind of mythical creatures they have in their area that are common as their mascots. We see that they are coming from these two different cultures, and we have them labeled as such. So we've got the Ireland team and we got the Bulgarian team, you know? So we see bits and pieces about that particular culture or that community for wherever that team is held. Even we see that for in Hogwarts with the 4 different houses. They've got a Gryffindor house, we've got a Slytherin house, Ravenclaw, Hufflepuff, and each one has their own Quidditch team, which represents their house, and they all have mascots that relate to that, like Gryffindor having the lion being kind of their mascot, and they're cheering for their team. It also represents competition. Of course, every sport has competition to it. You want to win, you want to succeed, you want to reach up through the ranks and be the victor. So it represents the community as well as we have some competition going on. And it also represents fun and teamwork. I kind of lump those together because I feel like they are kind of a little bit together in the fact that it represents the fun of playing the game as well as the teamwork involved in playing the game. So that is both aspects of actually playing the game itself. So of course there's the teamwork of knowing who you pass the ball to and coordinating that way, how you coordinate against the enemy. We've got the fun of the people who play it, because obviously if they didn't enjoy it, in most cases, that's not every case, but in most cases usually you play the game because you find it fun. So I feel like that is a good overall representation of what it represents, which again is very similar to what our own sports in our own lives represent. What characters are heavily tied to this game? Now you could be saying, well, technically everyone is involved in this game and represented heavily to this game, and the fact that all of Hogwarts goes out and cheers for their teams, they all go and watch. We've got, all the wizarding community that wants to go to the Quidditch World Cup and to see them compete. But the lists that I have here, I feel like, are the ones that we see that are more major characters that are more heavily tied to it, that really are close to the sport. And the first of all is Harry. Harry has been playing Quidditch since the very first year, and he loves playing it. The second one is James Potter, his dad, because obviously we know that he was a really big Quidditch person when he was at school, so he is heavily tied to it, and also makes it so Harry can have a tie to his dad in that way. We've got Ron, because he eventually joins the team as well, and he has always been a big supporter of Harry, as even before he made it onto the team. We've got Mcgonagall, because Mcgonagall is very competitive when it comes to Quidditch. She even buys Harry the Nimbus 2000 in order to make sure that they had a top-notch broom for their player that is the most important for winning the most points. So she's very much a hardcore Quidditch person. And last but not least, we've got Victor Crum, who of course is a national player for his team and is at the Quidditch World Cup. So Quidditch is a very big portion of Victor Crum and the things that he likes to do. Now, last but not least, what makes this Wizarding game unique versus, like our own sports? What is it specifically unique to the Wizarding world and unique to this particular story? So, the first thing is most obvious, is that literally only witches and wizards can play this. Muggles can't because they can't fly a broom. So it's already unique because it is something that is unique to the abilities of the Wizarding world. There's no way that that's going to be happening for any Muggles actually flying in the air portion of it. So they've got the flying through the air, which normally in our own sports, the ball is the only thing flying. Instead, we've got people flying, and it's never touching the ground. In fact, they're very, very, very high up, which is why all the stands are up there. Of course, sometimes we do have things that are a little bit lower down, like catching the snitch in Harry's case and such, but for the most part, it is a very high-level game meant to be combat in the air for all of the sport. And then we also have balls that are flying on their own. So that is another thing that is unique, is the fact that, the bludgers, they are flying around trying to knock people off their broom. And of course, the beaters can hit the ball, but it has a mind of its own in many ways, and it's just going to be flying off wherever it wants to. So in that way, we've got the flying elements, which are literally only the Wizarding community can have, but it's also unique to this particular game in the fact that all of it is up in the air and not based on the ground. And that's all I had for right now on Quidditch. That's what I came up with to discuss it with you. I hope you enjoyed this. Again, please let me know what your thoughts and feelings about Quidditch are, and if you think I missed anything or would like to comment on anything else, please let me know in the comments down below or on social media. I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.